What's up guys, my name is Darren Jackson. Welcome back to the channel. I appreciate you stopping by, and we're going to talk more about the Torchlight and Metamaterials merger, and hopefully I can give you guys some updates as to what's been going on and what's hopefully to come, because I'm sure all of us are thinking, what now? So with that being said, this merger, I think I've said this before, it's probably been the most interesting merger that I've ever actually been a part of as far as an investor's perspective. First of all, they're not called a merger, they're calling it the arrangement, quote unquote. Second, typically when companies merge, there is a high interest for what each company has to provide product-wise, and they come together and combine forces and create this mega company. But it's a little bit different here. And another reason is also because the benefits of investing into either or within this time being, especially because you can invest into one or the other. They're both available in the stock market in some way, shape, or form, which is another reason why this merger is so interesting. I've made a couple of videos about this in the past, so if you're really interested in the additional information on what these companies are all about and why they're merging, make sure you check out these videos. But I'll quickly go over it before we get into the updates that each company has to present. So Torchlight Energy Reserve is an oil and gas based company, and just like a lot of other oil and gas based companies, they're working on implementing different aspects to their company to kind of go along with the times that renewable energy and renewable resources is what's to come right now, as opposed to oil and gas and burning coal and other stuff like that. But this company in particular wants to scrap all of that, and they want to just join with a company that's kind of already in that sector along with the tech sector, and that's where Metamaterials comes in. Metamaterials is a company that builds films made of nanocomposites, which they call metamaterials, and those nanocomposites can be used to manipulate waves, primarily light waves, and they use these films in different applications such as airplanes, automobiles, and even wearables. So they're both coming together, and I've already explained why Torchlight wants to combine with Metamaterials. The reason why Metamaterials wants to combine with Torchlight is because it's their end to more profit. What I mean by that is Metamaterials is a Canadian-based stock. Even though I have found Metamaterials on Fidelity, I'm sure a lot of you guys are investing into Metamaterial through Fidelity at this point. Them being in a Canadian-based stock and only being available into other brokerages like Fidelity limits the amount of finances or money in particular that they can actually acquire from the stock market. So with that being said, they want to enter the NASDAQ, which is beneficial for them because it'll give them more money, because it gives investors such as you and myself more access to invest into them. And the NASDAQ is an index fund that's predominantly made of tech stocks, so it falls within their line. So they're working on that, and their end is by combining with a company like Torchlight so they can meet the requirements to get in the NASDAQ and hopefully stay in the NASDAQ. So with that being said, let's talk about some of the updates on the side of Metamaterial, because they're pretty straightforward. So on March 12th, Metamaterial and their shareholders approved of this arrangement. So there you go, that seems to be pretty important. And on March 18th, the arrangement itself was approved by the Ontario Superior Court Justice. So that's essentially it. And with that being said, everything on Metamaterial's side seems to be pretty cut and dried. They are ready to do this merger. Things are a little weird with Torchlight Energy Reserve. So a few days prior to the Superior Court Justice approving the side for Metamaterials, on March 15th, Torchlight announced that they plan on the merger being agreed upon by the end of Q2. Agreed upon, hopefully closed at the same time. But they announced that they're going to hold a special meeting within 30 to 60 days from March 15th. So hopefully by the end of April, to where they can give out their information on their proxy statement. The proxy statement is basically the information that they give about the managers and the details about the managers as far as if they hold any shares and just other stuff. They want to make sure that this company is what they say they are. It's a lot of basic information you have to present to the SEC. So they're going to be doing that within the next 30 to 60 days. The biggest thing that I got from that is also what they said is by the end of that meeting, they will announce when is the last day that shareholders have to invest in the Torchlight to receive this special dividend. That's where one of the big interesting things happens with this merger. Arrangement. When it comes to investing into either one, or when it comes to the merger itself, if you're currently investing into Metamaterials, which your options are either investing into it through brokerage apps like Fidelity with the ticker symbol MMATF, or through a Canadian-based brokerage app with the ticker symbol mmat.CN, then you will acquire 75% of the equity after the arrangement is complete and the new ticker symbol becomes META. What that basically means is for every 1 share of metamaterial that you currently have prior to the merger, that 1 share will convert into 3 shares of the new company. So if you have 10 shares of either one of those companies prior to the merger or either one of those ticker symbols prior to the merger, you'll have 30. If you have 5, you'll have 15. It's not 3 added, it's just we take 1, we give you 3. So that's your benefit on that end. Now, when it comes to Torchlight Energy Reserve, you will have 25% equity of the merger. With that being said, that essentially means that for every 1 share of Torchlight that you currently have, you will have 1 share of Meta. So if you have 10 shares of Torchlight at the moment, you'll have 10 shares of Meta post-merger. It's not 1 added, it's just they're taking 1 away and giving 1 back. Keep in mind, guys, this is a little bit different from what I said. I have the kind of beginning thought process right, but I think I said for Torchlight, they'll give you 1 for every 4, and for Meta, they'll give you 3 for every 1. That doesn't really make sense. So it's 1 for 1. But the interesting part comes into play where they want to make it equivalent as far as how much money you'll be receiving in both parties. Because if they just do a 1 for 1, then you're essentially going to be losing money in comparison to what investors of Meta are currently making. Torchlight has these assets based on properties that they're currently doing projects on, and there's a lot of assumptions on how much it's worth. If you go on websites like Seeking Alpha, I think they just say in the millions, and other sources say it could potentially be in the billions. But regardless, those assets, once they're sold by the end of the year, they will be divided amongst all investors of Torchlight currently, and it will be given to you by a preferred stock dividend, a one-time preferred stock dividend. So for every share of Torchlight you currently have, not only will you get 1 share of Meta, so just convert 1 to 1, you'll get an additional one-time non-redeemable, non-tradable preferred stock dividend. Now that amount can range to any amount. I've heard in a couple of dollars, $5, I've even heard upwards of $25. So the benefit is potentially high, and at the moment it seems like no one really knows what that could be. So that's why a lot of people are also investing into Torchlight as well. As far as Metamaterial, I've said this before, it feels like one of the biggest benefits is your voting rights, just because you'll have more shares because you own 75%. So owning 10 shares of Torchlight will give you more voting rights post-merger because that'll convert to 30, as opposed to owning 10 shares of Torchlight because they'll just convert into 10 shares of Meta. So that's kind of where we're at right now. And that's what I find most interesting, because a lot of people are debating on which one I should invest in at the moment, even though at the end of the day, if you believe in the company long term, it may not really matter because it's all going to be the same thing and it'll go as far as Metamaterial allows it. It's a really interesting situation as well. But I am really concerned about when this is all going to happen. Like I said, Metamaterials is ready right now. Torchlight is kind of taking their time, and I'm not really sure why. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Why do you guys think Torchlight is taking so much time? Which one are you guys invested into? Are you investing into Torchlight right now? Are you invested into Metamaterials through Fidelity or some other brokerage app, or the Metamaterials Canadian-based through a Canadian-based app, and why? Just let me know what you guys feel about this merger in the comments below. And make sure, like I said, you watch these other videos if you're interested in some of the main information about Torchlight and why I became interested in investing into it. Hopefully they help you guys on this situation and your overall investing journey as they have in mind. I appreciate you guys so much for watching, and until next time, take care.